welcome back everyone to the OurMFC podcast video, whatever it is that you're watching it on. I'm joined by Matty and Ben again today. Things didn't really go to plan, did they, at the weekend? So we're gonna dive right into that and get to the nitty gritty of what went on at the weekend and us not quite making the playoffs. But first of all, how are you both doing?
Yeah, for myself.
Personally great. Personally great, but from a football fan point of view, still kind of depressed. But we'll get into that.
Well, that's the old Boro mindset, isn't it? I think we're all rocking with that. So
yeah, have to, don't you? Have to have mental toughness.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fan.
Just box it off.
Yeah,
box it off. That happens there. Everything else.
We'd actually probably need a therapist just
Yeah.
for like being a Boro fan and how difficult that is. Talk about our challenges.
If you want that, guys, leave a comment. We will hire an OurMFC Boro therapist.
You know what? It's actually quite relevant because it's Mental Health Awareness Week this week. So for all you Boro fans out there that need a chat, drop us a message. We're all here.
Our DMs are always open.
We're all in this together. So
absolutely.
Yeah. But I'd say going on a lighter note, it's not really a lighter note, is it, the weekend? We'll start, obviously, at the start. So going into the game, obviously, we were all very, very optimistic. There was a lot to be excited about. There was only 2 points between us and Luton and Sheffield United. And if they dropped points, it could have been, even if it was a draw for Luton, and we won the game, that was it. We'd have been in that top six. But it didn't quite pan out like that, did it? What were your thoughts going into that first half, before the game, and then after the first 15 minutes?
Well, I mean, for anyone who's seen the last episode, I would like to say I didn't think we'd make it beforehand. So
that is true.
In fact, you were right. In fairness, you were right, and I did doubt you. To be fair, but I'm holding my hands up. You were on this one.
I mean, I thought we'd win the game. That is the only thing. I thought we'd beat Preston, and
I'll admit defeat.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Well, yeah, that's what we did.
Well, Boro too as well, but
it was really poor game. I mean, another thing. Fair play to Nathan Jones. He's done an incredible job getting Luton into the playoffs on that budget with the amount of injuries they've got. So fair play to them.
I think the whole team cost. The whole team. It said on Sky Sports, the whole Luton team only cost 1.5 mil.
It's ridiculous,
which is phenomenal considering where they finished in the league. And when you look at Fulham, who were well into the 100, I think it said over 100 mil. The aspect, the difference in the table was phenomenal. So fair play to Nathan Jones, fair play to Luton Town. And I hope they do well in the playoffs.
Yeah, the whole squad cost a Matt Crooks, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, if you combine Fulham and Bournemouth, it's you're looking at 220 mil or something daft like that. So yeah, it does show the difference. And on a stadium note, I would love to see Luton Stadium in the Premier League. I don't know if you've seen.
Can you imagine
the away end as you're walking in? You walk up a flight of stairs and actually through a
Don't you go through someone's back garden? You go through someone's back garden, don't you?
Yeah. So could you imagine Pep Guardiola rocking up there? There'd be some absolute.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Mohamed Salah, Cristiano Ronaldo, and all them types of players going to Luton Town's ground? Even for Luton fans to see players of that magnitude in their ground, it would be something special.
I know, and that's
it'd be phenomenal.
To Luton,
we're not meaning that in a patronising
it's not. There's
no
disrespect.
No, definitely not.
All
respect to Luton.
It would be something else to see that in the Premier League. But going back to our game, like you said, we had to win as well, and we didn't start off very well. At all. I think if I bring the stats up,
it was a game where everything was hyped up, everyone was excited, and then after the whistle was blown, it all just went down like a dodgy balloon. It all just deflated rapidly. I think after that after the goal went in, and even beforehand, I was watching it thinking, what's going on here? I think we were all over the place. We were absolutely all over the place. And I think after them first 2 goals went in, or the first goal or whatever, like I think that's when it sunk in. Was like, maybe this is not going to be our year.
Yeah.
Especially when you were looking at Sheffield United, who were pretty much at least 4-0 up against Fulham by that point.
That was like half an hour in. But yeah, we didn't. Well, I think it was the first 5 minutes, first 10, 15 minutes. We looked all right. We started all right.
Oh, we started brightly.
Yeah, we started pretty well. We had a couple of chances. Didn't really test the keeper. But I think it was actually interesting before the game. I'm sure Chris Wilder spoke about the importance of getting the first goal. And obviously, we went and conceded the first goal, which was literally like 24, 25 minutes in. And then I think from that point on, the first half was pretty sloppy. We then conceded again 10 minutes later that was a Dale Fry own goal in the end. But I remember that so well. The ball goes out on the left-hand side, and it's their striker, that Reese.
Yeah, Emil Reese.
He had 2 men on him. I think it was
Jones and Howson.
And Howson, yeah. I think Howson was there first, and then Jones he was running back or something like that, and he's got 2 men on him. He has no right to turn them both.
Yeah.
But I think Howson's on the outside then, and then Jones tucks in, but then dives in almost, and Reese just runs past him.
Yeah.
Puts a great ball in, and obviously that goes in off Dale Fry, and I think that goal for me really summed up the first half, especially.
I mean, there was so much to unpack with that goal. I mean, it all comes from Jones deciding to cross when I don't think he really should. I mean, Daniel Johnson's right in front of him. It's almost like he's, it's poor decision making. It's like he's kind of desperate at that point. I mean, he has tailed off in recent weeks. So could he be one of the ones going? I'm not sure, but might have an inflated value at the moment.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised to say. I don't think he'll be in trouble.
No, I don't think he will.
No, he's
going anywhere. But because, like I said, we spoke about before. If you look at the season, like that he's had as a whole, it's been phenomenal. From where he started to where he is now. But yeah, I haven't been too impressed with him at all either the last few weeks. There has been a real tail in form, and like you said, just key decision making in like key areas really.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a strange one because, like you say, we've gone from seeing him in these 1v1 situations and you're thinking, he's going to take him down the line and whip a ball in. But now, like you say, Daniel Johnson, you're right, he was right in front of him. Yeah, you've got a few men in the box, but you're thinking you're better off either playing that inside or trying to take him on 1v1.
I mean, Crooks was free on the inside of him. I feel like in that position, you just recycle possession.
Yeah.
You keep the ball high up, and because we just gave him a break, and then, as you say, Emil Reese just decides to turn around, which our players didn't seem to realise that was an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know I touched on this last week where I said that I don't really think Isaiah Jones's recent down thing in form, it's not really a big issue. I'm going to say it again. It's not really a big issue, I don't think, because when you look at the season as a whole, what he's done, and I think Ben mentioned it last week, he's probably shattered at this point.
Yeah.
For a player who's young, who's not really had, this is his first proper real experience in like higher tiers of football.
Yeah.
It's a different style of football for him to maintain. He's gonna, because of the danger he's posed, we mentioned this last week, he's gonna have them players on him all the time.
Yeah.
Because of the danger that he poses. He's probably gonna be knackered by now.
Yeah.
Obviously he gets a good break in now. We go again next season and hopefully begins to regain what he formerly had a few months earlier. But I don't think it's out to worry about. I'll say that again.
Yeah, I think I think what I said, because I watch all the games, like the away games, with my girlfriend's dad, and we were sat in the kitchen watching it, and what we spoke about was, I think there was that over eagerness on Saturday. There seemed to be obviously probably the occasion, the atmosphere. There was that kind of over eagerness to like get the balls in the box straight away, and we seemed like we were forcing it a bit. And I think Maddo spoke about it in the commentary, but I agreed with him when he said, we were pumping it forward to our strikers, and it wasn't sticking like it was with Preston and their striker Reece. They were putting a ball in. He was holding the ball up. He was getting the midfielders involved. Playing them little triangle passes around the box. And we really lacked that. We lacked that being able to stick the ball up front and keep it there, and bring McGree into the game. Because I thought at times he was quiet, and involved to have players like key playmakers that they're the ones that make you tick. They're the ones that get you going. But yeah, there wasn't.
Well, I
think it does stem from that over eagerness to try and score.
Obviously, like, no disrespect to Preston, they proved on Saturday why they are quite a decent team. To be fair, like they've obviously had some good performances this season. I know their position is not the best in the league, but it's like they've shown that they have that little bit of quality, because they did play well on Saturday. There's no denying that they played very well on Saturday, and we just couldn't cope. I think that's the borderline factor. We just couldn't cope with it. We weren't expecting it. We just couldn't cope with it, and it just came as a massive shock. And just, as I said, took the wind right out of the sails, and just turned everything into a massive low. So it wasn't. Fair play to Preston. They did put a good game up. There's no denying that. We can't take that away from them. But perhaps we should have put a bit more in. As you said, there was a bit where we were, just trying to get the ball to the strikers all the time. It's like, right, go, 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 go. It was like 110% the whole time. When maybe you don't need to go at full tempo for the whole time. You need to take some time to maybe settle in, get the ball around a bit, instead of just going, right, forward now, get it to strikers, go, try and score. Because I think you mentioned Howson earlier. Howson had a great game. The distance he ran, especially now he's getting on a bit. No disrespect to Johnny Howson, but he's getting on a bit. He's not exactly the youngest anymore. To run that distance, all fair play to him, to be fair. I think he was phenomenal. But as I said, I think the tempo was just way too much. The tempo was just right. Get it to the strikers, try and score a goal. Get it to attackers now, go. Instead of trying to get into the game a bit first before trying to create the attacking chances, we just completely went full whammy from the start, and I think that ultimately came back to bite us on the backside, and it was ultimately the wrong thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, is there an argument to say that Chris Wilder's been tactically found out in recent weeks? Because I love Chris Wilder. He's a cracking manager. I want that as a kind of prerequisite for what I'm about to say. But what I've been noticing a lot in recent weeks is something we saw under Warnock, especially in that QPR game, where Helson's just getting isolated a lot. And like you say, he's not young. Unless you've got like Fabinho there getting isolated, or Rodri, you're kind of screwed. Howson, as good as he is, he's not Fabinho or Rodri. He's not prime Busquets or something like that. Which, a lot of the reason he's getting isolated, from what I'm seeing, is the two floating eights we've got in front. Crook's getting forward all the time. McGree or Tav on the other side bombing forward all the time. And they work back. But if we lose, possession quickly in transition, we're very open in the midfield at the moment, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Is it something Wilder needs to address?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of tactics and personnel, and I think that's obviously what he's been addressing today with the talks. We'll get onto that later. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I think tactically, Preston got it spot on, and someone mentioned not so long ago about them realising or seeing it when we played Blackburn away, when Tony Mowbray did a job on us when we went to their place at Ewood Park.
Yeah.
Tactically, we were a bit inept there, and I love what Chris Wilder's doing and what he's building here, because I genuinely think, get the right personnel in, we're going to have something special. We're going to have free-flowing football that we've wanted at this football club for a long time. But
I think if Wilder sticks to his word, what he said today and what he said after the match on Saturday, which I highly believe he will, I honestly think if we get the right people in, like he's saying he's going to do, he says he's got an eye on a few people already. He says he's going to try his best to get the squad into its best shape, make some changes if he needs to, because he's doing what, as he said earlier, what he wants to do, which is in the best interest of everyone at the football club. If we get the right people in, if he sticks to his word as he said he is, I honestly think next season we'll give it a proper good go. I really do.
Yeah.
But I think we said before we started recording, it could go one of two ways, but I won't take you on any further because obviously we'll go into that later. But I just wanted to get that in whilst you were talking about Wilder then initially.
Yeah. No, of course.
Otherwise, I would have.
Yeah, on about tactics as well. Like I agree with you, Ben, in the sense of like they played with the two in midfield, and anytime, well, for example, like that second goal where Jones tries to put the ball in, you've obviously already got Crooks and McGree forward. That leaves you with Howson on his own in the midfield. A ball comes out on the left-hand side. They've got two in the midfield, whereas Howson's on his own, and then they've got the two strikers. And it was them four were just playing triangles or connecting and creating patterns in the game where they couldn't be intercepted. There always seemed to be a spare man, and we just couldn't mark them. So I think tactically, Preston, fair to them, they got it spot on. And I think in the last few weeks,
I think
the last two games, absolutely, they were spot on. But at the weekend, we definitely got found out a bit. Definitely got undone.
We've definitely touched on it before. Like you can't leave Howson on his own in them types of situations because he's not, as I said, he's not the fastest. When you've got as you said, the two strikers, like you can't, Howson's isolated in the middle of the park. You can't. You've got, as I said, Crooks and that pushing forward. If they don't get back in time and then it's just Howson and all them, as you said, we're screwed.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it's something that needs to be looked at, but we've got a lot of work to do before August. So it's just been interesting to see how it pans out and if he kind of keeps the same tactical mindset or if he tries and switches it up a little bit. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, but then going into the second half, we started well again. We started really, really well. The first 10 minutes or so. Well, even the first 5. Sorry, we got the goal within a few minutes of the game starting. It was a little bit out of nothing really. We were playing a little bit better. The passing was a lot crisper. It was sticking a bit more, and then the ball's put in, and Taverniers that head it in. So you're thinking, brilliant goal back just after half time. We're right back in it at 2-1. We've seen us make better comebacks than this. So it's on, and then literally 5 minutes after that goal, straight down the other end. I think that was a counter attack again. It wasn't that the one. Luke Daniels probably came out a little bit too early, and he just gets dinked.
Yeah.
I mean, what I saw in that goal when I was watching the highlights, I mean, obviously it starts off from McGree losing the ball very cheaply.
Yeah.
But, in his defence, he doesn't have an option out wide because Tav's tucked in there. And then Watmore, who was out wide, also tucks in centrally.
Yeah.
So he's kind of run out of options. But I saw it again, Howson isolated, Cameron Archer, there's too many men for him. Cameron Archer's completely free.
Yeah.
That people don't track back in time. Really good movement from Emile Reese, to be fair. He darts to the outside of Dokesdale and then just cuts back inside of him. Yeah. Just breaks the defensive line like that and then dinks the keeper, like you say.
Yeah.
Which arguably not great goalkeeping either, because Daniels kind of wilted. He didn't really make himself big. Like you see Allison do there, he'd spread him.
It was a bit of a weird one because I agree with what you're saying in the sense of the build up to that goal, lack of options, and then like you said, tracking back wasn't the best, so we were kind of caught off guard. But then there is the tiny argument that Daniels could do better there because he kind of half-heartedly comes out. He's a little bit hesitant, so he's got to make the decision there and then. If he's coming out, he's got to come out fast and big. Make himself, like you said, wise. But if he's not going to, then he stays in his goal so that he doesn't have the space behind him for Reese to do that. Maybe he takes the shot on early because there's a man closing him down. Daniels makes the save or Reese puts it wide. Whereas I feel like because he's half-heartedly come out, Reese knows where the keeper is, how much space is behind him. He's actually got more time to think about what he's going to do. So, there's the slight argument for that as well. But then, I mean, after that, there wasn't too much to really talk about. It was
No, I think
it's
when we, at that
sloppy,
point,
wasn't it?
when we saw Sheffield United were 4-0 up at that point, and
Yeah,
like I think and when you saw Luton had got the goal and seemed to be further, I was flicking between the iFollow and Sky Sports. I was like, I think Luton had a pretty firm hold on that game anyway. It didn't look like they were going to let anything slip.
yeah,
So I think at that point, when you're looking at it, you really think it's safe. I think it's game over here.
Yeah.
So I think it didn't go the way we planned. I think is the best way to put it.
no, it didn't.
It
Like you
just
say,
Yeah, I think it was just so hyped up. Everyone was so looking forward to it. And by the way, the fans incredible on Saturday. I must say that the fans are incredible.
yeah,
So I think all of them went down there, and got really excited. Everyone was excited. Everyone was like, right, we can do this. And then everyone was just kind of like, as the afternoon progressed, everyone was just slowly more and more like, not our afternoon. This ain't how it's not gonna happen. So, but I must say, for a fan base like ours to be 4-1 down and to sing like we did, I mean, it just shows, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I touch on this every week. We have one of the best sets of fans in the country, and please don't come at me, anyone who supports any other football club in England who just happens to have stumbled upon this video, who seems to think that their fans are better. But our fans were impeccable on Saturday, and it just shows, doesn't it?
I mean, to add to that, the fact that our away support is this good when we've won 6 of 23 on the road, I think just adds to it. I mean, that Star's not a great away form. 8 draws in there, so let's sort that out. But to win 6 of 23 and still have our fans, as you say, singing at 4-1 down.
yeah. I think. Well, that fourth, that wasn't a very good. Paddy McNair got sent off, which is actually being carried into next season.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's only one game ban.
If he's here next season.
Find that strange. If he's here next season, I find that strange. But obviously he got sent off. They scored the penalty. There's nothing really to talk about there. Yeah, that happened. But then after that, I think it was about enjoying the occasion. I think obviously as fans, you're at an away day. You're 4-1 down. You know it's not happening anymore. You know it's the last game of the season. Just enjoy it. And you know what? Like you've both said there, our fans did more than that. The videos that have come out after the game, the noise that we made.
I didn't hear. Shout out to the Preston police and stewards, by the way, who I've heard from all the fans were absolutely phenomenal on the day.
Yeah.
So shout out to them, and shout out to the policeman who gave the Boro fans a lift in the police van to the pub as well. Can I just say that? Oh my God,
did you? Right, so I shared the video on OurMFC. If you haven't seen it, go and look at it right now, because if you don't, then we won't be friends. But that video, I don't even know how many people got out that van. It was great.
How did that many people fit in the van? Is what I want to know.
I've got no idea. They just kept coming. I think it was
like some kind of actual TARDIS or something.
Yeah, someone counted, and I'm sure there was 26 people got out the van.
How 26 people fit in that in that van? I'll never ever know. Because I thought, right, that's it now. And then next thing you know, there's another 12 people coming out, and you're like, what?
I know.
But honestly, the amount of people who've praised the police and all the stewarding and all that on the day, and who've said that that's what football should be modelled on. I think it just shows, doesn't it? There are a lot of people have stuff to say about away stewards and stuff like that. But I think it just shows, doesn't it? They have the best interests of the away fans at heart. It's just sometimes in the heat of the moment you can think not. But I honestly don't know what kind of technology they've got in those police vans to make that many people fit in. But please get it up to Teesside, because I really want to try that out and make a buck off it.
I know, yeah. I wouldn't care though. I think they're being investigated, so I think
let's leave this.
Yeah. I'm sure they're being investigated for why there was that many people in there. But massive credit to the Preston police anyway. Moving on. But no, like you said, the fans were insane. Just enjoyed the occasion, and there's so many awesome, cool videos that came out of that, and so many happy people, considering the result and the occasion. It wasn't meant to be, but there's lots of optimism. Which
that sea of red looked awesome, by the way.
With Zoom telling me there's 10 minutes left, Yeah,
We need to sort that out. We need to try to find a way to sort
we
the timer
We
out.
need to sort that out for everyone. So I apologise. I will sort that out.
I
For
should
next
use our
video.
friend Dr. Google afterwards to see what's going on.
Yes,
So.
we will sort that out because 40 minutes does not seem enough. But then last 5-10 minutes, we'll talk about the retained list that came. Because to be fair, there's nothing else to go through in that game. Well, have you guys got anything else to add before we quickly move on?
I don't think so.
No.
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything, pal.
Yeah, it wasn't, like you say, it wasn't the best of games to end on.
And there wasn't much to talk about anyway, to be honest.
No.
The less said about it, it's probably the best way to put it. But yeah, I think we've covered everything.
But yeah, moving on to some of the comments today then. So obviously if you're watching or listening to this, it'll be a Wednesday, but we're recording this on a Monday. So the Boro's retained list for 2022-23 came out today. Wilder said that Johnny Howson will be getting a new contract, or there's contract talks open.
My captain.
Which is brilliant, because obviously he's been phenomenal this year.
I love Johnny Howson.
Yeah, he won Player of the Season. He's been superb this season. He really has. But Peltier, Bamba, and Taylor will not be getting a new contract. They will be, unfortunately, leaving the club. I'm
devastated about Sol.
Yeah,
I must say, I'm devastated about Sol. What a bloke he is.
Yeah,
it's the right decision, 100%. But I just think because of the person that he is and the way the fans love him.
Yeah,
what a bloke he is. An inspirational bloke, to be fair. We wish him all the best.
Yeah,
he's
sexy. I've seen your tweet, Ben. I've seen your tweet.
I've seen the tweet as well, though.
Yeah, the person that he is, you can't fault him. He's
best of luck in the future too.
His journey is, and any time he's been, called upon, he's been there. He's been a leader. He's been superb.
And his penalty against Manchester United will never be forgotten.
Yeah, definitely. I did think him and Peltz would.
I thought Peltz would have stayed on.
Just as well, Wilder spoke about them in the dressing room, so I thought there's maybe a chance. But I agree with you, Ben. I think I would like to see Bamba maybe on a coaching role, because I know he was brought in as a player coach, and I think
he was both for the under 23s, wasn't he? To go and put in there or something about. Or something
I think
he
was doing coaching with them. Yeah. So
I'd like to see him stay in that capacity. Because he's not. I don't think he's actually going to play anywhere else. To be fair to him, he's getting on a bit. But if he could stay in some kind of coaching, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah,
I think he said in his interview earlier. I know you haven't watched it yet, but he said in his interview earlier he wants to carry on. He wants to go and be a manager. He wants to do the coaching, and he says he's got the experience here that he needs to kind of platform him into that. So he's very excited for the future. I know you haven't seen the interview yet, so I won't spoil it for you. But
if you need somewhere to stay, Sol, I've got a spare bedroom, so any time.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll welcome that offer, and we'll share that all over Twitter. This snippet.
And by the way, all the meals will be freshly cooked by Ben. Whether Sol Bamba eats them is a different story.
Yeah,
my cooking's great, thank you. Sol Bamba will be primo vegan food.
All right. I'm sure he'll very much enjoy that, Ben.
Yeah, we'll have to tweet at him, or we'll DM him or something. So
I DM'd him earlier. He hasn't responded, but I DM'd him earlier.
Yeah, just to wish him well.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of that list then, and obviously the loan players as well, they've returned to the club. So Flo Balogun, Spora, Connolly, they've all gone back to their clubs. Where do you guys see us going from here? What is the next steps really for this football club? Buying
a striker. I'm going to say that out front. Buy a striker or two. I actually beg, because the loans have obviously gone. Balogun, Spora, Connolly, all strikers have gone. I think we definitely need some more in. What more? But I think we need some more in for sure. But I think, I just want to say thank you to all of them for their contributions and everything. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what sort of transfers he brings in the summer, where he goes with it, because obviously now we've lost those players. try and get worthy replacements. I think is the next step.
Big squad turnover is always tough to manage. So that's what worries me slightly.
So, from the list today, right? The list that was released, which mean that every other player is like safe there, or could it?
I think that's just everyone whose contracts were expiring.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So like everyone else can still leave if the right offer's put in it. Right, okay.
If they came out and said, "Oh, Paddy McNair's leaving," then his transfer value would plummet. But I don't have any inside knowledge. That's just the player I've picked out.
Yeah, I do. I do believe there'll be definitely a few in there.
Be interesting to see what happens with Jed Spence. By the way, I just want to put that in. Be interesting to see what happens with Jed Spence. He'll be going, but
I don't think he'll stay. Obviously dependent on Forest. Forest might go up. Yeah. Forest might want to pay big bucks, so you might want to go there. But
it'll be a bit of money for us. It'll be a bit of money for us. You can't complain.
Yeah, I'll be doing a thread of stuff.
By the way, if you haven't seen Jordan's Twitter threads, they are a thing of absolute beauty. So make sure you go. and see them on Twitter.
I do my best on my personal Twitter to do some different stuff that we do on the OurMFC channel. So thanks for the plug, guys. If you still want to see that, check my Twitter out. But no,
that'll be £10 after the video's ended, mate. Thank you very
much. Sponsorship money like that. But I think there's, like you said there, Ben, about the squad turnover. It's an exciting, scary time where the amount of seasons or years that we've finished at the end of the season and kind of gone, right, this is all about rebuilding. I know Johnny Bullock at Boro Breakdown did a massive article quite a while ago about, I think it might have been last season actually, the end of last season, about rebuilding and why are we constantly rebuilding, which was a brilliant article actually that spoke about us bringing in a head of football, like a director of football, sorry, and I think this season, this summer is going to be huge for the players that we bring in, because we don't want players that are going to come in now that are just going to be like gone next season. It's like he's talking about these mid to long term goals. We're rebuilding the foundations of a strong side that's kind of got a mixture of real quality and young talent with proven experience, not only in this league, but if we do gain promotion, there's kind of that slight eye on them being able to do it in the Premier League as well.
Yeah. The ambition, is most definitely there from the higher ups and everyone who's associated with the club in the higher up positions, chief exec, all of that jazz. Yeah. The ambition's definitely there. Wilder said that earlier. But it's just bringing in the right players to capitalise on the ambition, and they've got to share the ambition as well. Yeah. Because Boro's history, it's a good club to come to. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Boro fan. I'm saying it's a good club to come to for a player.
Yeah.
But if you're a striker, maybe we're not going to exactly jinx anything. But transfer incomings are going to be crucial. Yeah. In terms of rebuilding everything. He said earlier in his interview he wants a solid squad who's going to challenge at the top end of the Championship next season. And we can only do that if he brings in players who he knows are going to share the ambition and who want to do that with the club and who are 100% committed to it. Because otherwise there's no point in them coming if they're not going to be 100% committed to the cause and 100% wanting to get Boro back to the Premier League, which is what Wilder and what all the higher ups want to do. So I think it's matching the ambition that Wilder and all that has in the players that we bring in, which is, it's going to be interesting to see who he brings in. Actually, there's been a few rumours on Twitter, but I can't remember any names off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, we've got less than a minute, so I will. Have you guys got anything to really super quickly add in?
Just that this summer's big for the next 5 years. That's all. So
every season for the next 10 years is going to be huge.
Yeah. So when we come back in 5 years' time, I've got a nice beard going in about 5 years' time. When we come back, hopefully this will all be worth it. But I know we haven't got long left, so I'll let you wrap this up, Paul.
This episode is just kind of like a match reaction to the Preston game. Obviously, it was sharing our thoughts. Kind of rounding not necessarily the season, but our playoff chances and things like that, and kind of where we see the club going. But what we're going to do next week we're going to do more of an in-depth video. Obviously, we'll get Zoom sorted out, so it probably will be a little bit longer. But what we're going to do in next week's episode is we're going to really break down this season as a whole. Obviously, talk about bits and pieces, key games. Obviously, there was the change from Warnock to Wilder, so there's things like that to discuss. January transfer window, and yeah, just our whole review of the season and kind of where we can go into next season. We touched on it there, but yeah, we'll go into a little bit more detail.
Oh, there's a lot more to be said.
Oh, definitely as a season as a whole. And we'll give our grades each out of 10. We'll do something like that. Keep it a bit light. But yeah, thank you both for joining me again this week.
No worries, Bob.
Been a pleasure. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, like the video, share your thoughts below. And if you're listening on the podcast, whatever platform that may be, please leave a review. Just let us know what you think, because we really appreciate that. And
if you tell us that we're all exceptionally handsome blokes, it'll be very much appreciated.
Yes, that is an absolute bonus, and we might pay you.
Yeah. Cheeky PayPal donation.
Yeah.
We won't pay you. Disclaimer.
Yeah, but no, thank you both very much, and I will see you next week.
No worries, Bob.
See you in a bit.
See you next week, guys. Take care.
Cheers.